You give me a countdown or we're live? Hey, welcome, ladies, gentlemen, germs, and all those in between. People. Yeah, people.
We can't hear you.
I'm not muted, am I? Hello? Can y'all hear me? Okay, here we go. So, yeah, this is Friday edition of the BIPOC. Not Tupac, but BIPOC. Oh, Tupac, BIPOC, give it to. Okay, so the BIPOC happy hour brought to you by the Minnesota people of color LGBTQIA and whatever pride org, located conveniently at 2517 Golden Valley Road on the Twin City, on Minneapolis's north side, everybody. And I got some people in the house with us tonight. Say hi, room. Hey, if anybody wants to introduce themselves and maybe say a little bit about what they do, I'll start with myself. I'll give you guys the thing and name the best part of your day. How about that? First name, last name, organization you represent, and good thing that happened to you today. So my name is Kevin Chaos.
We lost your sound.
Minneapolis, giving that good safer sex outreach and HIV testing, at-home HIV testing stuff to you all and yours. I also represent Total Chaos Entertainment because, as I said, my name is Kevin Chaos Moore, and that's my brand, man. Let's see. Good thing that happened to me today. I was given the privilege of being able to talk to you, beautiful people that I cannot see here in our Zoom meeting. So, Mazel Tov. Okay. Can you guys introduce yourselves? Other people in the room? Because y'all got roles here at
Uncle Ray.
Uncle Ray. Hey, Uncle Ray, who do you represent?
At what?
Who do you work for? Who do you represent?
Minnesota People of Color Pride.
Man, say that with some pride, though.
Minnesota People of Color Pride organization.
This dry ass. Okay. And give me one good thing that happened to you today. Huh? I'm gonna just do it until it's done. So, one positive thing that's happened to you today.
I don't have anything to speak on right now.
Nothing. This has been a day full of.
So far, yeah.
Oh.
So far.
Excuse me. Well, I'll be. Well, hopefully that'll turn the corner after this show, or at least with its next introduction. Hello, beautiful person. Could you please introduce yourself, who you represent, and one very beautiful positive thing that happened to you today? That thing was delayed that much? Yeah. Oh my. So sign up?
Oh, well, yeah, two other people. I didn't know you was talking to. Y'all like there was two other
I'm sorry. I was looking at the screen thinking that you could see me. Look at
and look, I was sitting up here chilling. I know I smoked right before this shit. Okay, so Sina Black, board member for Minnesota PLC Pride, and don't represent any other organizations, at least right now. And good thing that happened to me today. I woke up. Shit.
Okay.
I'm breathing. I'm healthy, and yeah. So
that's what I'm talking about. Thank you very much. And last but not least, or hold on, do we have somebody else that's on here who's open for idea? Who that is?
A secret guest.
Oh, okay. Hey, secret guest. Oh yeah, Mr. A.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
You're
right. All three of y'all do it. Like, right. I don't know what I do. I just try to figure out every day when I wake up.
Okay, that's a good answer. An answer I would give. And one positive thing that's happened to you?
You know, I got invited to breakfast this morning. I got kidnapped. They cooked it, steak, eggs, and something else.
Who cooked what?
We don't matter who cooked it. I said somebody kidnapped me and fed me breakfast.
Okay.
That's
Gotta
what
be
it's about. That's what's up.
You gotta go somewhere. You gotta wake up and pay attention. You know, it represents my, they know what's up with that. They know what's up with that system. 1996 action. Okay. So yeah, welcome everybody to today's discussion / examination of pop culture that I kind of taken a couple of minutes, literally a couple of minutes to kind of think through. But no. These things have been speaking to me in my soul, these pieces of art, and I really wanted to take this broadcast, this meeting, to share with everybody the beauty of these three works of art. I got one from, I got two from two old favorites. Yes, youngins, you're gonna have to sit this one out if you don't want to learn about these people. But two people from that were like popping in the 90s, and they still have had pretty good careers throughout the 2000s. But that. And one LGBT queer artist, let me put it like that, a queer friend of mine actually out of Baltimore by the name of DDM. He is a fucking prolific fucking genius rapper, gay hip hop artist coming out of Baltimore. So I'm going to talk about his newest project, The Ballad of Omar, and I'm also going to examine Nas's new opus called The King's Disease, as well as what some people are calling a comeback album by Mrs. Brandy Norwood herself called B7. And the B7 means this is the 7th studio album that she's created. We are blessed to have her in our lives. Why don't we start with her? Why don't we start, you know what I'm saying? Because black women, y'all don't let black women, no, y'all let black women lead a little too much. However, we don't elevate them as much as we should. How about that? So we're going to elevate this black queen first. Bring her out. Oh, sorry, I lost myself. B7. So my initial listen through to this album. Okay, let me give you a couple of details. Okay, she hasn't done this album. This is the point in which I got to keep freestyling, like I'm looking into the camera, but I'm actually looking for my research. Okay, so yeah. Oh damn, and I had Nas up here first. Idiot. So okay, yeah. So Brandy Norwood. The last time she came out with an album was I thought a fantastic actual return to R&B album that came out in I think February of 2012. It was called 211. The 211 standing for, is it her birthday? And it's when Whitney Houston died or something like that. The day that Whitney Houston died back in, I think it was 2012. Okay, so anyway, rest in peace, Whitney Houston. This album was like, her return to, the studio, her return to what sounds like and feels like a nice budget. Even though all of her projects have been like nothing but friggin' pure professionalism as far as like the production, top-notch production, and very, very awesome songwriting. She's actually, I think she's one of the most brilliant songwriters of our time. As well, she has this really crazy technique of layering her vocals in this way that is kind of reminiscent of people like Janet Jackson. Michael Jackson was good at it. There's also some others that are now in this era, like let's see. Ooh, that's a hard one. No, there's some people that like Solange. You hear it sometimes in Solange's. You hear it in Beyonce's work sometimes. But there's this technique that Brandy has of layering her vocals so seamlessly and so kind of correct and perfect on pitch and like just matching. The thing, if any of you that know anything about making some music, you know that it's really difficult sometimes to catch the same vibe or the same feeling in each take that you do, because after a while you get a little tired of stuff, or you just don't, you're so used to hearing all of these things like instruments and volumes and levels, and sometimes you technically aren't going to be on pace or perfect. But she damn near has perfected this way of like layering her vocals in which she tricks like the computers that she records on, basically, and it all comes out like it's one take, or like, you know, it's like the same perfect take, but done like in these luxurious layers of friggin' vocal warmth and strength. And, you know, her runs are very, you know, they kind of give you, put you in the mind of like kind of Faith Evans or Kelly Price, but on a more deeper and guttural, you know, kind of. Her vibrato was fucking crazy. If any of you know what that term is and what it sounds like, her vibrato is fucking amazing. But anyway, yeah. So it was met with, you know, some mostly positive feedback, you know, out there, especially from hardcore fans. You know, that's what hardcore fans, they do. They give you positive feedback all the time. However, I will say this album actually was worth, I think, the hype. And I think it took me a couple of listens for it to really start to warm up on me. But once it started warming up, oh, like any of y'all that know me know that I sweat a lot, right? Especially in this environment that I'm in right now. I be sweating like a hooker in church, or, you know, her shoes, or, you know, I don't know, but sweat. Okay. How did I get on that? Yeah, I am ranting. I just went out on a tangent. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not gonna waste you guys' time. But yeah, anyway, it's a great offering. It has like 15 tracks. Some of the notable, I think the ones that jumped out on me were a song called Unconditional Oceans. It's kind of, I think this is probably one of the actual, no, I take that back. It's probably one of the weaker songs on her album, because I think she did a little too much on all of it. You know, she has like millions and millions of layers, millions and millions of things, but it kind of makes the lyrics get lost, you know, because there's so many technical things going on in that song. But she brings it back. You said, yeah, three. Okay, what? Okay, so yeah, 3 albums. How we doing? Okay, so yeah, but some of the things that stand out, of course, is like the leads. What is it? Oh, the High Heel song, which features her daughter on it, actually. It's really, really cool. And of course, she kind of brought back out that Love Again song that she did with Daniel Caesar, that was on one of his last projects. In all, it's a very, very positive and these streaming platforms are really fucking people over, and we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, the next album, Nas. Nas hasn't come out with an album since that crap that Kanye West threw together for him in 2018 called Nasir, in which he had maybe one good song on that thing that jumped out, and that was that the Cop Shot the Kid song. And now we see that song it's very timely, you know what I'm saying? Like, actually, I'm gonna go back and revisit that song. It's a very good one. Takes that sample from the Slick Rick song, right? But anyway, he had this new thing called King's Disease, right? I feel like I'm talking too much. Anyone got any questions about the first album? Okay, well, we passed Brandy. We on Nas. So there goes Nas.
To see some of it or hear some of it when she does her verses with Monica.
Yes. So yes, and that's going to be happening on August 31st. Is there 31 days in this?
Yep, I believe it is the 31st.
Yep, I think it's going to be on. Yes,
go look it up somewhere on Instagram.
Next Versus Challenge. Yeah, we'll find that info for you guys. If not, well, we might actually commentate it. We might do a live stream of the Versus thing. That would be really cute. But anyway, yeah, that would be hot. All right, so Nas, King's Disease. I was surprised by this album. I actually forgot that it was coming out. And when it dropped on first listen, the thing that jumped out to me the most was the fact that his beats finally sounded great. And now he's had some good beats on some songs in the past, but like, that's one thing that he lacks in. That's one reason why Jay-Z was able to kind of edge ahead of him, is his beat selection. Okay. But this time around, he chose to link up with a guy by the young dude by the name of Hit Boy. And Hit Boy has actually been getting a lot of good gigs. I think he's one of the producers on Busta Rhymes' new album, which is, from what the industry says, supposed to be like the greatest album in existence. Like, supposed to be. Okay, I'm kind of hyped up for that. But anyway, and it shows that he finally has found his thing in this album. It doesn't sound like it's a 40-year-old or a 40-plus-year-old rapper trying to be young sounding or trying to like fit in with the trends. It's very it's contemporary, yes, but at the same time, it has this level of depth to it that like Jay-Z's 444 project had for him. You know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, you're grown, you done been through all this stuff. However, let's get back to some of the things that really matter, like our community, our Black women, our stake in these freaking companies that are like, you know, doing what they're doing with our art, you know, and just also celebrating the power and the beauty of Black. Because his new thing was called Ultra Black. It's who's on that track with him? Hit Boys. Who's Drake's man? I thought so. That's that Shabab, the Shabib dude.
Yeah,
He's Hit Boy.
that's 40.
No, that's 40. That's somebody else. I thought that was his man. Big.
Yeah, he got most of his hits.
So, Hit Boy is the guy that kind of broke Drake. He didn't break Drake, but he got him most of his hits, from what I understand from the youngins that are in the building here. Give it up for the youth, y'all. Well, no, this nigga almost 30, so I mean, what am I talking about? Anyway, yeah, he's grown. Anyway, but no, thank you for that. Though. Yeah, he's one. Hit Boy is, you know, one of the people that brought Drake to his ascension. But anyway, it's perfect. Nas picked the perfect producer to work with for this, and it just comes out in the way that the sound sounds. It's a cohesive project. He doesn't sound like he's trying too hard, and the features. When I first read this track list, I said, "Oh shit, he's got all these features on here, yo." And usually, you know, when old school rappers have a thing full of features, it's not. Snoop has been one of the only old school rappers that's been able to do that, have a whole album with people. Let me go through a couple of these tracks. The lead single, yeah, the Ultra Black, yeah, black, everything's black. I love that kind of music. You know what else? There's also the title, the lead, you know, the title song, King's Disease. I think he explains it as it's basically what rich people suffer from, you know, when they have a little too much of everything. You know, sometimes the king, you get so fat and so full, it becomes a disease. You know, everything that he's consuming, you know, changes him into some, you know, negative stuff. I mean, it's some really kind of deep underlying message with it. And but Nas kind of explores that idea in a perfect way and in the most Nas way possible. It really kind of gives you a lot of affirmative action. What's that album called? It was written that era between, you know, kind of after Illmatic and before the stuff that came after Stillmatic, you know what I'm saying? Before Ether, like that kind of Nas. He also has a song called Cardi 5 with Charlie Wilson. Anything that any hip hop person put Charlie Wilson on, be fire. I'm sorry. Other than like Nate Dogg, he's like the king of friggin' hooks and hip hop shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the old school motherfuckers. But there's this other song. Oh, there's also a reunion of the pseudo popular Firm. You know, that's the group that was made between him, AZ,
What?
and one. Yeah, who was that? What?
Sorry, that was me because I was like, AZ, really?
Oh yeah. So he got AZ,
Okay.
Cormega back on. Well, the original four members. So it was him, AZ, Cormega, and Foxy Brown. When asked about why he didn't have Nature on there, I think they fell out about something and they never got it back together. But anyway, so the four original members of the Firm. The song is kind of kind of underwhelming, but there's also like some songs like with the one with him and Big Sean is like really, really good. There's a joint called 10 Points that's very good, and that one is really on some, you know, what we need to do as a Black community to kind of get this shit together and all that kind of stuff. But he's saying it from a vantage point that's not really, you know, finger wagging or nothing. He doesn't sound like Bill Cosby at all whatsoever. But album is one that is not about any of that educational, black shit, but it's one that's kind of about flexing, and that's the Spicy song. It's called Spicy. It's like a bonus track on the end of the album, like it's track number 13, and it features ASAP Ferg and Fivio Foreign. And Fivio Foreign is one of the new school rappers that I kind of dig, and ASAP Ferg, of course, I dig him too. He kind of reminds me of Old Dirty Bastard or Busta Rhymes, actually. Yeah. But anyway, those are like the standouts to me. But he has a lot of good stuff on there. So I pray that you all take a chance to read that. Read the track list or get a preview of the album, whatever you want to do. It's a great album. I haven't come up with a rating system yet, but we'll get to that some other episode. All right. Now, the third album I would like to share, and you can find him and Brandy on, of course, any of your streaming platforms. Go to their websites. They have the ways in which you can support them that ensures that they get money, you know what I mean? So either through buying it hard copy or direct, getting it from some other source in which, they're giving you the download from something that they are controlling. Try your best to, give back to the artists that are putting stuff out there, especially now during the COVID times, because a lot of niggas is not working. So if you are working and you can't afford to, try to support artists. But I mean, if you really can, you can do the subscription thing, do it. All right. So the next album, which is going to be the last album that I review today. Anybody need a breather? Everybody okay? Y'all still with me? Are y'all with me? I guess you're not. Well, that's
Yes, we are.
oh hey. Here we go. Hey. What's up, Rox? Hey, real quick, we got some people join us kind of late in the game. So can you introduce yourself?
Fox. What's up, everybody? Good to see your beautiful brown faces.
Hey. So what organization do you represent or serve?
Rare Productions.
And one positive thing that's happened to you today is giving you some joy. Nothing's happened.
I got to take an amazing walk with an amazing brown, queer, trans person at my favorite park in the whole world, Powderhorn.
And as a question, do you have any local artists you think that need to be talked about?
Are you
That
talking
doing something?
Are you talking to me? Or
Roxanne.
Oh, there's so many. I mean, from what's right here on the screen to, folks that we rarely see, but, Minnesota is chock full of brown artists. So I don't even know where to start with that. We could start at the A's and work our way to the Z's, and I think we could probably hit one person in every letter.
Yes. Yeah, that's real talk, y'all, which is also the name of the project. I'm not gonna go there. Okay, so thank you, Rox, for sharing. Next, the third album that I'm gonna be reviewing is The Ballad of Omar by the queer hip hop artist. I'm just gonna say gay rapper out of Baltimore. Is a good friend of mine. He's a brilliant artist. Talk about like bops. This dude makes bops. His name is DDM, and it stands for Dapper Don Midas. Anyway, The Ballad of Omar. Let me tell you, by far, this is like my favorite album of the year. And I'm not BSing you. I'm not just saying it's just because I know him. I'm not saying it just because, they're queer. I'm saying this because, like, conceptually and lyrically and down to the actual execution and the production, it is a damn near perfect album. If I had a rating system, he most likely would get 5 mics or 5 dicks. 5 dicks, that's what it would be. He'd get 5 dicks. You know what I'm saying? Nas's album would get 3.5 to 4, somewhere like a half a dick. And I think Brandy, I'm gonna give Brandy, I ain't gonna give her all the dicks, but I'm gonna give Brandy a solid 4 dicks. I mean, and probably the curved ones that curve up, not to the side. To give it, I know. Anyway,
a little bent,
a little bit, a little swerve, a little veer off the, beaten path. But so DDM, The Ballad of Omar. The reason why this is titled The Ballad of Omar is because it's kind of a nod to the HBO series The Wire. And if some of you who've seen The Wire recall that Omar was actually a very, very gay stick-up kid. Black, I mean, black. He was played by, what is his name? Fucking, the name of that actor. Oh, man. Play Omar. You watch The Wire? Fuck. I'm gonna find the name before the end of this. But Omar was this character who was gay. He was from the hood, but everyone in the hood was scared of him because he was the stick-up kid that stuck up the stick-up kids. He was the stick-up kid that Michael. You said what? Michael K. Williams. That's the dude. He's been in so many other shows, but like that one is the one that in the hood, at least, he's known for that role that he played as Omar. And he played it very, it's a non-traditional view of a gay man in the hood. Like everybody, it turned the whole thing on its back. You know what I'm saying? Everyone in the hood was scared of this dude. And so this dude had this power, you know what I'm saying, that so many could not get in the hood. And so this kind of parallels with this young man's life and experience, being a, kind of effeminate, you know what I'm saying, chubby, gay kid growing up in Baltimore of all places. And all y'all know the ravage, the pillaging that happened when crack entered the era, you know what I'm saying, in the early 80s or whatever, and the effects that it had specifically on the East Coast, and the coastal cities. And then, of course, it infiltrated its way into the, Midwest and whatnot. But Baltimore has long been known for their high crime rate, their high murder rates, and actually having a very high rate of local artists that are like brilliant in what they do. A lot of things were filmed and set in Baltimore. And was that Laurel Street thing that T. Michael Rambo was in? Wasn't that set in Baltimore too? I think maybe some of y'all, it's a little old school. Or was it? Yeah, I think it might have been. But anyway, he has some really brilliant songs on here. Real quick, the ones that stand out to me the most, my favorite one is called Ra-Cha-Cha. Another word he's adopted for a ratchet or a gun, you know what I'm saying? And that one he has with a lady by the name of Miss Cam, who's spitting on it like on this, second verse and on out. But it's a very, very dope, you know what I'm saying, upbeat, mid-tempo kind of song or whatever. But he has like some masterpieces like this song called Boys Don't Cry, in which he talks about his experience in very vivid detail growing up, with a father and a mother that, were both homophobic, like extremely homophobic, saying he couldn't wear certain things in the house. You're going to get back out there and whoop that dude's ass before I whoop your ass. All the things that, I'm sure we've all heard before, but, kind of ramped up and, just being belittled and all that kind of stuff like that through, the place that you're supposed to be finding your love from. And he has so many other like brilliant little gems on there. But the one that he closes out the whole album with is a tune called The Ballad of Dante. And he goes in a really, really, he reminds me of Biggie, not just in his size, but in the fact that he is a masterful storyteller. All rappers can't tell stories. All rappers can't really rap. This dude is a very, very good wordsmith. He makes he very, very brilliant visual pictures with his words. Whatever. And The Ballad of Dante is about this relationship, this quiet relationship that he had with like the love of his life at, an early age and, through a whole bunch of gangster shit, but it's about the whole struggle that, of course, Dante is having with being out-ish, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, people may be able to see him and see that, okay, he's queer or something like that. This guy that he was in love with, not so much, but they did a whole lot of stuff together, and this person being such a big, part of his life, and how, even though, he couldn't necessarily be out with their love, he still didn't hesitate to let motherfuckers know what was up if they ever tried to fuck with him and shit. And that one has a really, really slow, kind of like jazzy beat to it. And it's beautiful. So the whole project, I think, is brilliant. It's one of the best projects I've heard this year so far. And I would give it 5 extremely hard Viagra, or what's that called? The injection dose type dicks. Okay. Ballad of Omar, B7 by Brandy, and motherfucking King's Disease by Nas. This has actually been a good year for music. I will admit. Yeah. So anybody any questions about those works of art?
Drop your
So
friend's name
why
again,
don't people know
Kevin.
about it?
My friend's name again. His name is DDM. Let me put it in the chat. Two capital D's and lowercase M.
I know we're talking about music today, but at some point, I would love us to go back and talk about Omar Little on The Wire.
Omar Little.
You brought that up as one of the kind of first gay like superheroes. This dude
Yes.
was like badass, and I would love to have a conversation about him since you brought him up today, because
I think we
we
should
don't talk
do that,
about him very
Roxanne.
much, but he made some amazing kind of like inroads for queer artists.
Right. And you know the other kind of queer actor on there was Little Snoop.
Snoop, yeah, your little Snoops, yeah.
Yeah, and you really don't hear much about Little Snoop nowadays. I think I saw Snoop in some other movie, and they were playing like somebody that was getting human trafficked or something like that. Oh, it was the Sweet Blood of Jesus, the Spike Lee film. I think that was the last thing I saw them in, and yeah, but you didn't hear much about. I didn't hear much about them or their career, but it was really cool seeing them in that role too, because this is like the first time I saw Snoop like in a dress with lipstick on, and not at all trying to be anything other than who Snoop is. But you know, it's beautiful. If you get a chance, look at that movie too, the Sweet Blood of Jesus by Spike Lee. Spike Lee. Okay, y'all. So for one, has everybody been okay and safe with all this unrest that your fellow Minnesotans, I'm sure, have been telling you all about, or what they feel about it? How's everybody feeling? What's the temperature like in here today?
Didn't the police shoot that boy downtown?
That's how rumors get started.
Jenna,
Man.
stop it.
Niggas.
Stop.
So, in case you guys didn't know, there was a young man. I don't have his name offhand, but he was involved with a homicide as a perpetrator, and he was, I guess, running from the cops or whatever, and it got to the end point of the trip, and what is the whole story? Ain't that the whole story?
Is that he shot.
You gotta get online and put it in.
Yeah, you gonna do all that.
Yeah, you talking about her dicks?
Well,
What? You have to do no, bro. What's the part?
I don't know the whole story, so I'm trying to figure out like what is the truth. Why did he shoot himself, and what happened?
The story was that
Yeah, but you don't have. He ain't got a choice. Yeah. Oh, mute me! Don't mute me, nigga. Yeah, you muted me, nigga.
But I'm just trying to ask, like, what? I know the police didn't shoot the young man. I'm just like, why was they chasing him in the first place? What did he do?
he shot somebody, he killed somebody.
So that's what I was saying. Okay, so the whole story, like I was saying, was he shot somebody, killed somebody, and then they
I'm upside down.
were closing in on him. You know what I'm saying? And at this point that they were closing in on him, people that were there in the direct, like right in the immediate area, started dispersing because, of course, the cops jumped out the car with guns drawn. Okay, as these people were dispersing, the young, okay, you muted me, but then okay, I'm in a hello, yes I am. You muted me. Sons of bitches. Are you ready?
With the video. Hello, can everybody hear me? What's up? I'm right.
Yeah, right, all right.
I'm right. Yeah, so what happened was the guy at 7th Street Garage, he got in an altercation with another man because apparently that guy was messing with his girlfriend. So he ended up taking the life of that person. And then once the cops came, they all ran. He ran to 10th and Nicollet, and that's when he took his own life.
Right.
In front of everybody. And pretty much everybody was downtown. They were already protesting on the other side of downtown at the time. And I mean, you see cops in front of a dead body, so you automatically assume that the cops had taken the life of the young man. So that's when all the riots stopped. And then in order for them to get the riots to stop, they released the video on what really happened.
And so yeah, And you know what I was trying to, what I was talking to somebody about earlier with the whole situation, when you see the video that they did release, which, you know, and I feel a couple of ways about that, because, you know, yeah, I see, you know, you're trying to do this to quell the, you know, the anger, to kind of, you know, diffuse the situation. However, what you did again was expose and kind of put on display another Black life, kind of with a little context, but you know, it was kind of like, okay, here, let me just put this out there. But the thing is, for it to have then been duplicated and passed on to this source and this news source, and everyone's playing this photo of this guy taking his own life. By that time, though, the thing is, when they ran up, you know, you can tell on the surveillance video, let's go back to that backup shit. On a surveillance video, as the cops were running up with their guns drawn, people were dispersing. They weren't, you know, looking in the direction of the cops, because of course, muscle memory for us, these niggas about to slush. So then they hear a pop. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of the people in the media area were under the assumption that they shot the young man. They didn't see him actually kill himself. And isn't, if I'm not mistaken, like,
Well, they started dispersing because the young man was actually running with a gun in his hand, and they saw the gun in the man's hands, and they knew something was going on. The cops are also chasing him, so that's when they assumed to run. And if you watch the video even more, there was one little girl that was still sitting there at the time.
Yes.
She didn't run until he shot himself. So
I guess the point that I'm making is, like, the people that were, am I on mute? No, who put me on mute? Open for ideas. Who's that? Okay, put me. Okay, hello. I think my thing's going. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay, they hear me.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, the thing is, though, people didn't get an eyewitness account because they weren't actually looking. So what I'll try to explain this to people is, some of the people in the area just weren't looking. They hear a shot. They know fucking history, muscle memory down. They must have shot him. You know what I'm saying? For having the gun in his hand, because that's what they do any other time. That in turn starts a series of fucking vandalisms and mayhem. And I'm not gonna use the L word, but we know the L word that everybody uses. You know, the one that Trump said they're gonna start shooting on if we start doing that, right? And all this stuff happens, and I understand, you know what I mean, the situation. You just heard from, you know, two people what the details were, you know, the little semantics or whatever. But of course, in MPLS, you know, police department fashion, and based on this lesson that they, I guess, learned from this last uprising, they got right on the horn with the National Guard and all those other people, and they just proceeded to try to get the whole situation under control. Now, in this time, the rumor has spread. It actually, in the minute that it was happening, and they're saying people were looting downtown, the first lie that was told was that BLM, as in Black Lives Matter, the, you know, whatever, put the lie out there that this guy got shot by the cops. And it was not, it's simply not true. They never said that. They were on a totally different side of the fucking downtown having another walk for Jacob Blake, you know what I'm saying? The young man that was popped up in Wisconsin, in the back, as he was walking away calmly from cops next to the car full of his kids. Okay?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But this alleged homicide, you know what I'm saying, has already put a whole bunch of people on edge, and a whole bunch of people right back into the feeling that they had when they saw George Floyd get killed, me included. You know what I mean? And what happened was the miscommunication ended up, you know, blowing up in this whole thing. And now we got the National Guard back in. We got 2 days of curfew, one of which started at the ridiculously early hour of 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And I really was kind of pissed about that whole thing, because it's like, okay, y'all just trying to make the conditions, you know, that way that you can like continue to like catch some people up. You know, you just popping that shit on somebody within an hour of the curfew actually happening, that there's going to be a curfew. People got jobs, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that don't, but you know, it was just, to me, another excuse for them to start rounding us up and to get us closer to introducing martial law. And I do believe that the police still are playing their parts in little ways, either through their media people or through their actual actions, that stoke the flames and that continue this whole cycle of, you know, action, reaction, bad, who's bad, you know, good cop, bad cop, whatever, good, person, bad person. No, all people of the community are evil. Let's just, now use this as our excuse to just kind of bring martial law and shit or get closer to that whole thing. And the police want y'all to know that you need them. That's also the message that keeps coming out of all of these things. In order to keep these niggas in line, you need us. So there are a lot of people, especially business owners downtown, that are sick of it, that are ready to pick up and leave. They actually have been picking up and leaving. A lot of Fortune 500 companies have been hauling the fuck out of here ever since the last uprising. But the thing is, you can't continue to keep blaming their dissatisfaction with the way the shit is up here as a result of the stuff that y'all do or put into place. You trying to get something that you otherwise can't get.
But
And some people will always take a situation and try to take advantage of it. I'm not saying that's what's true of everybody that was down there,
Mhm.
but it no longer was about whether he got shot or not. Motherfuckers knew, you know what I'm saying, or if they didn't know. I'm sure some did, I'm sure some did. But regardless, some people are gonna react and try to take an opportunity when they got it. You know what I'm saying? How this ends up affecting us in this overall thing we're trying to go for, thing we're trying to work for, I don't know. How this is gonna affect, you know what I'm saying, our ability to run around this motherfucker without getting harassed by the cops, I don't know. But, this whole institution of the curfew thing is just another prime example of how, just this cycle of, this side, that side, no one's still talking or working towards a real solution. And a whole lot of people too that don't even have to deal with any of those conditions want to put their fucking 2 cents in about the shit that they have no clue about when it comes to people and the things that have to go through.
So do we have a solution to what you're talking about instead of just complaining? What will be our next steps?
Yes, well,
as far as what?
as far as what? I mean, I got things that I don't know.
I got solutions for the police.
And I think that those are some
Have-
things that don't talk about.
Yeah, have them police their own communities they was raised in.
What'd you say?
Have them police their own communities that they were raised in.
That's one. That's definitely a good one. Also, don't give them all this money to basically turn their fucking police squads into fucking small militias, to turn their police squads into branches of the friggin' army.
But at the same time, there are countries throughout the world, they don't even have firearms. If they need a firearm, they call the military.
Okay,
So,
but that's their place.
exactly.
And does the military always, like, say, when there's a scuffle between citizens, do they all come out in this brute force to fucking make them stop?
Yeah, you get hit with a billy club, but
Well,
that's as far as it's gonna go.
Not no semi-automatic weapon, or
Yeah.
as in the case with the young devil, up in Wisconsin, that I'm sure some of you have heard the story about this, going to protest for again, rest in peace to Jacob Blake, the young man that was shot in the back in Wisconsin. There's people coming from out of town that are part of militia groups, sharing all this hate and making all these plans to come and converge and pop peaceful protesters. And so supposedly the sheriff was the chief of police there that made that whole statement about how no one would have got hurt if they weren't out past curfew. He did all but basically exonerate and kind of like applaud the boy for his action, saying that they did this to protect property, or that was his reason, and people are actually giving him a pass for that. Like, he killed 2 people, a white man and wasn't a black person. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for protesting. Just because is he still alive? What, the black one? The white one's dead though. Who's still alive? Jacob. Oh, did I say you got killed? My bad. He's paralyzed though. The young man is paralyzed. He ain't dead. Okay, he's paralyzed, but people are still marching peacefully for a change, for equality, all that kind of stuff, are now put in danger because some little white boy feels emboldened and feels entitled enough to run up there, and just because you and whatever else, Opie and all them other motherfuckers don't like the fact that people ask for their equality, you feel it's okay to just shoot them. And after they're chasing you down. And then people say, well, I heard that he was getting chased down by like armed protesters. You think if armed protesters were there, they would have let him get away by just chasing him and not shooting him? But people take that armed protesters thing, oh, well, then he did the right thing then. And that was the kind of narrative that that this chief was even spinning. Like he was doing something for the community. And I'm saying all this to say, ladies and gentlemen, germs and people. I don't know. We gotta get this shit together. Because I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of seeing us, in our deaths being paraded on TV like it's Saved by the Bell, the reunion. You know what I mean? I'm tired of all this, division that we don't ask for. We've done all the work all this time. We keep doing the work, even when we tell them to do the work. So it's like, what else do we have to do other than sacrifice our firstborn children to show or to take this to the next level? Yeah, where's the solution? Where are the solutions? Yeah, the cops. Dismantle the police, so don't fund them as much as before.
So why don't we take them all to Burger King or McDonald's?
Take them all to Burger King. Well, they might have taken the Burger King because they did catch the young man in Illinois. But this is the kicker. He walks by the cops. Can you hear me, Sana? Okay.
Gun, not just a small gun.
Right.
Big ass
Right.
motherfucking gun walking down the street and they no cop. Stop this motherfucker.
And
Not
you
at all.
see that's
Did he feel
Wait.
like he's entitled? No, he is entitled.
He asked them for water.
Was entitled.
he asked for water. He was walking around with his hands up,
Yeah, and they only gave him water because they said he felt like a threat, but they didn't want him coming close just to get him away. They gave him water.
He felt like a threat.
Yeah,
That's what the guy.
they said don't come too close. Get him some water so he can leave. That's what they said.
But they went and went to the victims, all like ready to fucking take some of them in. I'm sure. Posture. This is what we're talking about.
So we talking about a
People are
a white kid.
Yeah.
We're talking about a white kid, 17-year-old. Legally, he cannot even have a gun,
Carry a gun. Exactly.
and going to a different state to shoot someone.
With a gang of people that came there to shoot people.
Exactly.
And he's not executed. He's not shot in the back 7 times. He got the gun in his hand from one of them other adults. Where's the justice, y'all? I know one place.
2 seconds to them before they shot Tamir Rice.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wasn't that a toy gun?
A toy gun that still had the cap on it. Am I correct? Or maybe it didn't. Whatever. It was a toy gun. If your first move, your first choice in your mind, your first reflex is to kill, and it's such a fucking coincidence that all the people that they kill in that fashion are mostly black and brown people. Like, that thing is beyond me, how people can even look at this any other way but fucked up. And it's something that we gotta stop, because guess what? We are free. They can do that with us. Guess who else they're gonna do it with? Because you don't have a advantage. That's what makes you unequal. Not equal. We're all losers. So y'all just better get on the right side of this thing. I'm tired of asking y'all to get on the right side of this thing.
I don't know what the right side is.
Well, it's the side that
We have to figure out how we can talk about this more and not just rant and do things about what's next steps. We coming to the end of our podcast.
Yes, we are.
And I know I want solutions instead of just ranting about what we can do. We have an election year, so I'm thinking that we get out and vote and really,
we should all stop killing
We gotta start killing ourselves. How they gonna take us serious?
how do I don't think killing ourselves is the issue.
That is an issue.
That's one of them.
They stop killing themselves.
We going around killing, but we killing each other.
For dumb shit.
How we gonna tell somebody else not to kill us? We look stupid.
Okay, but is it okay that they kill us just because some of us?
It's not okay for either side.
Okay,
But how do we tell somebody else to stop killing us when we doing it ourselves?
well, we aren't. Some people.
I think that people always use
But we talking as a whole.
We a
I think
whole.
vote, get out the census. I understand. Killing ourselves is an issue, but I think that the only reason they kill ourselves is because they got us trapped in there, like rats. You put them on top of each other, and they're gonna do that to each other. So I think that stop this kind of mentality, and then we'll kill ourselves. If they continue at this rate. That's why I think Connor says that. It's not just us.
Right. Solutions, everybody. Think about them. Let's come up with some. Maybe we can continue this discussion on the next episode. I want to take this moment again to shout out our beautiful audience. If you all have a drink by you, please raise it. Yes. So on behalf of the Minnesota People of Color Pride organization and all of our fine, furry, feathered friends, I bid you adieu, and we'll see you again on Monday. Oh, one more thing. The Meet podcast featuring your boy, and it ain't just ranting, is now available on the Anchor platform. So please check it out. The Meet podcast, Kevin Chaos Moore, and the first episode features, two of the homeboys from here. You know what I'm saying? So